So many people, literally billions of people each year, are searching things in search engines like Google and finding information related to products or services. So, for businesses, the more visibility that you have in a search engine can directly lead to more high qualified customers coming to your site, viewing your products or services, and ultimately leading to more revenue. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And in simple terms, SEO means making your website as visible as possible for people using search engines. The ultimate goal with doing SEO is to get more qualified potential leads, potential customers onto your website, which can directly lead to a huge impact and revenue coming back to your business. SEO can be a wonderful marketing channel for a number of businesses. I've seen it work for small companies all the way up to huge publicly traded companies. So if you think people are actively researching a problem that your company can solve, actively looking for a product that you sell, SEO can be a great fit to ultimately make it easier for them to find your business when they're searching for that information online. SEO works in a number of different ways. Ultimately, our job as SEO experts is to make your site as visible as possible in search engines by making sure that search engines can crawl and understand your site and know exactly what each page on your site is about. Another important facet of that is making sure that users are having a wonderful experience as they visit your site. So these two aspects, both optimizing for search engines and optimizing for users, kind of come together and form SEO. A few examples of things that we might recommend on a site: it could be adding additional content to the site to add some context and further detail on exactly what a particular page is about. It could be adjusting how text lives on your site, how images are added to your site, and making sure from a technical standpoint all of that content and information on your site is accessible by search engines. In a nutshell, we use a number of different tactics to make sure that search engines and people understand everything about your products or services in each page on your site. And the easier it is, the clearer that we can communicate those things to search engines like Google and to users, the better your site can perform in search engines, which means more and more traffic coming back to your site. There are many different unique aspects and types of things that we want to look at ultimately when it comes to SEO. For example, technical SEO is looking at a website from a server level, really digging into the code and the performance of both the code and the server. Are we making sure that information on the site's presented in a way that users are able to access from multiple devices? Is code loading on the site in a fast manner, or does it take the site 30 seconds to load a simple page of information? All those things are really important from a technical standpoint for us to analyze. On the other end, there's also what we call on-page SEO factors. So what type of information are you conveying through the content on the site? Do you have enough content on the site for both users and search engines? There's also a couple other areas out there like off-page SEO, which analyzes and looks at how people are talking about you and your brand outside of your site. Are lots of high quality websites linking back to yours? Are people discussing your brand on social media? What's your reputation online? So within this big SEO bubble, there are lots of smaller bubbles of really important things that we want to look at and address when it comes to your website. One of my favorite SEO tips is ultimately using some elements of architecture and translating that to a digital format and setting up a really well-structured site using information architecture where you're creating basically a library of wonderful resources for people interested in your products or services. So setting that structure up in a way that makes sense for both search engines and users can be a very powerful tool. So say you have a section of helpful information on your site on how to use a particular product. Just throwing that information up on your site can be helpful to users, but it's not getting maximum impact from both a usability and an SEO and kind of traffic generation standpoint. One of my favorite things is to take that wealth of knowledge that's in a client's brain about their product or service and chart all of that out and make a map of the best way to display that information on the site, and give it a very helpful structure, categorize it, and then determine which individual pages we want to have within each of those categories. That can be a wonderful way to make it easier to navigate your site, but ultimately make it make sense from a structural standpoint to help search engines really understand the categories, the types of information that you want to present, and then blowing your competition away with a really well-rounded resource guide. To learn more, check out our SEO guide for marketing managers, or if you're ready to start hitting the gas and want to partner with an SEO firm, give us a call at WebFX and reach out to us to speak to one of our strategy experts.